fans. Oh, she caught me reading my program from last week at South Sound Speedway. But howdy, race fans. Welcome to my little show about racing I like to call In the Pits with me, Stock Car Scott. And as always, In the Pits comes to you here on YouTube on Wednesdays, usually when I feel like it, because I have no sponsor to try to tell me what to do. That, race fans, that's my wife's job. Let's see, Formula One practice in Japan was the first racing of the weekend on Thursday night here, although it was like midday Friday in Suzuka there. Young Russian Danny Kvyat was fastest in that practice, while Lewis Hamilton ran a more respectable third. I think with his teammate Nico Rosberg in second, or maybe it was the other way around, but it seemed Mercedes has recovered from their Singapore toe stubbing and are back on the championship track. So, Ferrari was up in the top 5 in practice with Vettel and Raikkonen there to show that they intend to carry on the fight. So, Friday here in America, there were practices and qualifying for all 3 of the NASCAR National Touring divisions, but at 2 different venues, New Hampshire and Kentucky. The practices were mostly uneventful. Then later, Cousin Carl, Mr. Ed, put the number 19 Gibbs Camry on the pole for the New Hampshire Sprint Cup race, chase race there Sunday. Unfortunately, in Kentucky, rain cut short practice for the Xfinity Series and postponed the ARCA race scheduled for broadcast on Fox Sports 1 that evening, which would have been wonderful Friday night entertainment, but the event was rescheduled for the next morning, opposite of the Camping World truck race at New Hampshire, which was already on Fox Sports 1. So the ARCA race disappeared into the Phantom Sports 2 zone. I've yet to see a hoped-for rebroadcast on Fox Sports 1 there. In these frustrating days of Phantom sports channels and NBCSN not bothering to show Xfinity race replays, my FOMOR is worse than ever. You know FOMOR, F-O-M-O-O-R, FOMOR, fear of missing out on racing. Yeah, I used to be able to count on races on the Nashville network being replayed the evening after their initial broadcast. The good old days. But these sports channels these days are too busy to replay races, even though they can reshow some college football games 2 or 3 times. I miss my old Speed channel, folks. Even old school ESPN had fairly consistent replays, but the new contracts with Fox and NBC don't seem to require non-cup replays. I guess I need to acclimate to the new normal, where everyone is expected to have a multitude of sports channels and a DVR. Or I need to get over my FOMOR. Later on Friday night was Formula One qualifying at Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg was first and Lewis Hamilton was second in their Mercedes Silver Arrows, while young Russian Danny Kvyat flipped his Red Bull. It was spectacular. He destroyed that thing, folks, but he was okay. So, Saturday, I never saw the ARCA race at Kentucky, but I did see a pretty good Camping World Truck Series race from New Hampshire that was won by former Truck Series champion Austin Dillon in a number 33 Rheem Silverado. And it was also special for being the 500th Camping World Truck Series race that, and they showed old truck race video from different important milestones, including the 200 series race from Evergreen Speedway, won by multi-truck champion Ron Hornaday, one of my old favorites there, Ron Hornaday Jr. So, but at New Hampshire, a local favorite from Auburn, Tyler Tanner, was there. But he had to do a start and park again. But, you know, he is growing his resume, folks. It was nice that the Toad did not win in his number 51 Dollar General Tundra. But his driver in the KBM number 4 Tundra, their phenom, Eric Jones, maintained his lead in the points with a 7th place finish, while Matt Crafton and Tyler Reddick swapped places in the points due to Matt's 2nd place finish and Tyler's 15th place finish, making Crafton second by only 7 points behind phenom Eric Jones, and Reddick only a dozen points behind Matt. The truck's final 6 races should be very exciting, a very exciting stretch to the end of the season, with the next race Saturday night at Las Vegas, which might pose a problem for me there, but no more faux more, okay? Next up was Xfinity qualifying from Kentucky, where Joe Gibbs driver Daniel Suarez, who came to Gibbs with a shipload of money, won the pole. And Brian Scott, no relation to Stock Car Scott, was second fast. And we will hear a little more about him later there. So, after Xfinity qualifying, I set the archaic recording devices for the Xfinity race and the Formula One Grand Prix at Suzuka, later conveniently on the same channel, NBCSN. Then I headed down to South Sound Speedway for their final evening of racing for the season, with Bumblebees, Northwest Vintage Modifieds, Legends, Hobby Stocks, Mini Stocks, and a super late model 100-lap makeup feature. Because of the added 100-lap feature, which was a rain out from earlier this season, the trophy dashes were set aside for the evening. Oh. Get me sip from old Sterling Marlin there. Okay. In the A mini stock heat race, the PT Cruiser of Ken Legault had a season-ending crash in Turn 2. He seems sore, but all right. But his PT won't be cruising at the Fall Classic Mini Stock Nationals this coming weekend. In Bumblebees, the 01 of Charles Lemire won the championship, but folks, I have to be honest with you, I missed who won the race, because I had my face in a pile of chili cheese fries and was totally distracted. Anyway, congratulations Charles Lemire on that championship. In the 25-lap main for the Northwest Vintage Modifieds, number 22, Bobby Wheeler Jr. of Federal Way won the race and the championship for that touring series. Congratulations, Bobby. He is quite the vintage modified wheeler. In the Hobby Stocks, number 31, Zach Florak had problems with the front stretch wall and retired in a shower of sparks on lap 3, while number 47, Charles Metters, went on to win the 25-lap season finale and the Hobby Stock Championship. Congratulations to Charles Metters. I just wish they could get a bunch more cars in that division. That would be really nice for next season. Okay, in mini stocks, number 14, Randy Butler won the 30-lap race as well as the championship for that division, a reoccurring theme for the evening. But, you know, the cream does rise to the top, folks. So congratulations to Randy Butler on the mini stock championship and on setting the new fastest qualifying time record for that class. In the 35-lap Legend finale, there was a spirited side-by-side battle right down to the checkers with number 24, Tristan Hayter, and number 22, Jake Woods. The race was won by Tristan Hayter as well as the championship, Legend Championship for South Sound. Again this year there, so he successfully defends his title. Congratulations there, Tristan. Last for the evening was the 100-lap super late model finale for the very last race of the 2015 season there at South Sound Speedway, and it did not disappoint, race fans. There were a couple of spins and one really nasty crash about lap 70 that ended Christopher Kalsch's chances in his red number 33 from advancing on Bob Presley in points, and it almost cost him second in points to Tommy Elston. But by the end of the race, Bob Presley was running a solid third, while the big fun battle to watch there was between Canadian Wade Bland in his number 07, who is really no stranger to winning at South Sound, having taken this year's Firecracker 125 there on the 4th of July in his Ford Fusion. And, of course, against the local favorite there, J.J. Hamilton, of course, no stranger to the track in his number 11 Chevrolet. The side-by-side action of those last dozen laps or so was fantastic, but unfortunately ended on the last lap in turn 2 with Hamilton spinning and Bland winning. Well, it's fortunate for Bland there, but shame they couldn't have gone all the way down to the checkers there. And Bob Presley in third place in his number 17 Chevrolet won the championship as I sipped on hot chocolate. So congratulations goes out to Bob. Congratulations on that track super late model championship. Afterwards, I checked in the pits to see race fans, friends, and meet some folks I haven't met before. So, shout-outs go out this week to Tina, Vicky, Dennis, Josh, Dwayne, Kevin, Will, JJ, Linda, Tommy, Lynn, Christopher, Wade, Charles, Kyle, Ken, Kirby, and Butch, and all the folks at South Sound Speedway that provide a place for racing to happen. We will see y'all next season. Okay, when I got home to Magnolia, I saw the end of the F1 Extra program and surmised that Hamilton had won the Grand Prix of Japan. It was the first thing I watched Sunday after the Sprint Cup race and the Seahawks. So Hamilton, after he got around his teammate in the first lap in the first set of turns, basically he put on one of his racing clinics for which he is noted. Oh, his teammate, what's his name, was able to work his way back up after slipping back quite a few spots, work his way back up to second. Sebastian Vettel was able to finish third there on the podium for the Scuderia, and American Alexander Rossi finished with no incidents. Yay! Hamilton's win serves to extend his lead over what's-his-name. So the next Grand Prix is at the location of the last Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. It's not this weekend, weekend after next, which is good because this coming weekend is going to be kind of busy for me. Sunday when I got up, it was a little bit of breakfast and then Sprint Cup racing at New Hampshire. And I find it interesting that Hampshire is a popular breed of pig. Not one of my favorite tracks, folks, and anyone that knows me knows why. About the only positive that could be culled from Loudon is that my wife's favorite, Greg Biffle of Vancouver, Washington, finished 4th, showing the Roush team isn't as dead as people think yet, despite of all the dirt the talking heads have been throwing on the old Ford team. Casey Kane of Enumclaw finished a respectable 9th place in his Hendrick Chevrolet, as that team looks forward to next season. Both my guys finished outside the top 20 because of bad gas mileage strategies. Happy Harvick has just about ended his chances to continue his title defense with 2 really bad finishes in the first of the 3 Chase Race Challenger round. He needs a win, folks, or big trouble for all the Gibbs drivers and a top 5 finish. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is riding the cut line for elimination, so he needs to finish ahead of the 11 drivers ahead of him. Well, most of them anyway. The winner was Matt Kenseth there at New Hampshire, so he transfers to the next round along with his teammate Denny Hamlin, who won at Chicagoland. In other good news, the Toad had tire problems, so his 37th place finish puts him first below the cut line, occupied by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Their next race for Cup is Sunday at Dover, Delaware, where afterwards 4 drivers will be knocked out of the chase for the Cup. That is, if this coming hurricane allows that to happen. Also, I can't let Jeff Gordon's accomplishment of 789 consecutive starts go by without comment. The old man becomes NASCAR's Iron Man, surpassing Ricky Rudd, who surpassed Terry Labonte. And Jeff did it with only a handful of provisionals, folks. At the year's end, he will be at 797 consecutive starts. Maybe he should start Daytona, Atlanta, and Las Vegas next season to make it an even 800 consecutive starts there. But because of the new chase setup rules, which got Denny Hamlin in last year after missing a race, and allowing the Toad a waiver after missing almost a dozen races this year, we will probably never see a streak of unbroken starts like that of Jeff Gordon's ever again. 797 at the end of the season, unless he decides to quit before the end of the season. Anyway, after the Cup race, I watched the remainder of the Seahawks win over the Bears and a little of the Sounders tie at Kansas City while I edited and posted video from Saturday night at South Sound Speedway. Boy, howdy, I can't get that video posted fast enough for some folks. So, when I got up Monday, again, I worked on getting video out while I watched the Xfinity Series race on tape. Special thanks goes out to my new Facebook friend Rhonda, who helped me get a correct finishing order for one of the races. In the Xfinity race at Kentucky, Ryan Blaney in the Penske number 22 Discount Tires Mustang won his 4th career Xfinity race. It is a shame that Ryan isn't running the entire Xfinity schedule. I'm sure he would be up there in the points with Chris Buescher, Ty Dillon, and Chase Elliott. The race had no Sprint Cup drivers there to take away any of the points. Truck Series phenom Eric Jones was the only non-Xfinity regular driver, and he had to start in the back because he didn't qualify the number 52 Monster Camry. He was busy, running the Truck Series there, and then flew over. But he ran up front some of the race and had a top 10 finish. Chris Buescher had a 7th place finish and maintains his lead in the driver points, while Ty Dillon's 2nd place finish keeps him in 2nd in points. Chase Elliott maintains 3rd in points with a 4th place finish, while his Junior Motorsports teammate Reagan Smith stays in 4th in points with a 3rd place finish at Kentucky. My favorite Alabama driver, Bubba Wallace, moves up to 5th in driver points after a 9th place finish, despite his run-in with Brian Scott. No relation to me, Stock Car Scott, which led to a dust-up on pit lane with Bubba Wallace after the race. Brian seemed to throw punches through the open window at a still strapped-in Wallace, which, hey, that's not the way to go, folks. Anyway, I hope this goes no farther. But their next chance to hash things out comes this Saturday at the Monster Mile at Dover. That is, weather permitting. In other NASCAR breaking news this week, smoke will be disappearing from the track. After the 2016 season, Tony Stewart will retire from driving and turn over his seat in the number 14 Chevrolet to Clint Bowyer. I'm sure Tony will race something after 2016, just not a Cup car. Plus, he still has Stewart Haas Racing to run, as well as his dirt track there in Eldora. So, what will Clint race during the 2016 season? I guess maybe he will have to patch together one of those one-year deals like Casey Kane did before Mark Martin vacated the number 5 Hendricks seat there. I'm sure we'll find out soon. In fact, I'm already seeing reports that Clint Bowyer will be in the number 51 H. Scott Motorsports Chevrolet, now driven by 2008 ARCA champion Justin Allgaier, who, while very likable, hasn't produced while in the Sprint Cup Series. Anyway, 3-time champ Tony Stewart's send-off should be nice. Hopefully, he will make next year's chase so he can go out in style there. Also in the news, the number 78 Furniture Row team that works from a shop in Colorado on cars driven by Martin Truex Jr. will be changing from Chevrolet to the Devil cars next season. Yeah, they say they get no support for running the bow ties, but will receive tech support from TRD and JGR. I wonder if they will stop at the MWR garage sale at the end of the season and get them a good deal on a couple of used Camrys there. In local racing news, let me get me a little drink here so I can get through this. But in local racing news, folks, I am hearing only good things about the upcoming Fall Classic at Yakima Speedway this coming weekend. The super late model count is well over 30 cars, while the limited late model / street stock car count is well over 40 cars. And I'm hearing that they are going to start 36 cars each day in each of the 2 75-lap features that they're going to have over the weekend. And then the mini stocks are supposed to have like a zillion cars coming from all over because everybody had so much fun last year there at the Mini Stock Nationals. So I am really looking forward to this weekend and the Washington State Stock Car Racing Finale. It is the last time, folks, for a lot of us to get our racing fix on there until next spring. And it could be your last chance to go see racing this year and to take a friend. My wife and I are going to have, are going, of course, we're going, and we have a room at a place that sponsors the track so we can stay over at Yakima for both days of racing. And we will be seeing many of our racing friends from South Sound as well as Evergreen there at the Fall Classic. So come on out to the Palm Springs of Washington, because you won't get another chance here in Washington State until next spring. And y'all know that's where I will be, because I'm Stock Car Scott, and this is In the Pits. So, to find out all about the Fall Classic, be sure to tune in next week to YouTube. Next week, same stock car time, same stock car channel. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Until then, see you at Fall Classic, folks. Until then, thanks for watching.